Hello, I'm Dr. Katherine Horton. This is now really an SOS emergency appeal for your help. Whoever you are out there, I'm appealing to absolutely everybody who is, in first instance, who knows about these crimes, who maybe is a target themselves, but also maybe those who have followed my videos or just care about democracy and what is happening to us right now. But I am feeling physically extremely poorly. So I have just, as you saw live, been shot in the kidney just last week, exactly a week ago. And I'm just trying to cope, and I'm trying to put information videos out there, but it's just getting ever harder and harder. So the attacks are absolutely brutal, and now it's there has been just a pattern where it just gets, if I reach out, I really get just beaten down brutally. And this already started, so I started being overtly physically attacked in January. There was a break-in into my home, and I call it the Stasi style break-in because it was just a harassment break-in, so nothing of value was stolen, but just a few items removed, and one item was placed demonstratively in my home that wasn't mine. And when I said to my husband, I'm going to report this to the police the next day, that's when I was shot at shortly after, when we went to bed, with microwave weapons. And since then I have been just painfully irradiated and painfully literally just shot at with pulsed shots that cause internal damage to your body and die. I mean, in any case, these microwave weapons are essentially cancer weapons, but when they get pulsed with these military microwave pulse guns, they essentially cause internal damage. They can bruise you up, and I have got photographs and videos where I show how I wake up bruised up with bruises all over my body. And I am now physically at the end. So I have now endured 11 months, 11 entire months of just, or more than that now, 11 and a half months of just overt brutal assaults in my own home. So the vast majority of attacks to me that cause pain and damage and bruise and cause internal damage have happened inside my own home. So we have now a situation where you are not safe in your own home anymore, because the out of control military intelligence complex just decides to test weapons on you, and they just shoot you to pieces. And anything you've ever worked for, or the intellect and the knowledge that you've built up hoping to help people with this, is just being shot to pieces in the most careless fashion. I mean, they are just literally shooting into me to see when my organs are going to break, and then as soon as I go to a doctor, they read out the medical file, because they've got access to the medical files, and they sell it back to the arms industry. But I am just exhausted. I had to live just, with this shielding for months on end. I haven't seen my prints. I couldn't use my own office. I have to bunker down when I go to bed, try to be under shielding panels. And as soon as there's a gap, they literally just assault me to the head. And wherever I go, I've been followed into hotels. Every single hotel I've been to this year, I was shot at. I was assaulted at night. And my life has basically come to a halt. I'm now just a piece of meat, and I'm being shot into. Meanwhile, when I leave the house, I have these utterly worthless gang stalkers who are the national surveillance system run by the intelligence agencies, stalking me, harassing me, disconcerting me, following me wherever I go. But not just that, for the last couple of months, also they shoot at me when I drive my car, or just shoot at me as I walk down the street. This is a disintegration program, a takedown program. Not just takedown, it's like there's nothing to take down about me anymore. They have destroyed, now 2 businesses. They have utterly destroyed my income opportunities. They are trying to destroy my marriage. They have destroyed my health. They are shooting into me every hour of every day, and sometimes it's as frequent as every 3 seconds. Inside my own home, they shoot into my head as I'm driving the car. And I am now physically at the end. I have begged the police for help for 11 months, and they refuse to investigate. I have contacted the Attorney General here in Switzerland, and they refuse to investigate. I contacted the police, the criminal police, the Bundeskriminalamt, which is in charge of crimes happening on a national scale. And and internationally, and because I'm a German citizen and I've been attacked in literally every part of Germany I've been to, the Bundeskriminalamt was the only place I could actually contact, and they turned down my case. They told me, don't write to us again. And I have been to Britain. I tried to report an assault on me. I have uploaded the intimidation theatre that was staged around mental health, but that's an old hat, because Dr. Ronny Kilde, the ex-chief medical officer of Finland, has been publicly executed with electromagnetic weapons. She was tortured to death with electromagnetic weapons. On top of that, there's an entire list of people publicly known to have been tortured to death in Germany. And this is on top of the people committing suicide. So they are using the military and the intelligence complex, but it is actually the intelligence agencies running these, use the fact that they can shoot at people with their military tech, with these microwave frequencies inside their own home, to literally take us physically apart. They have taken me apart and have mutilated me in my bed at night, every night, since the start of the year. They have mutilated me in my bed when I was staying at hotels. You saw live how my kidney was damaged just last week on Monday. On top of that, my knee was damaged just because I dared to submit a complaint to the Investigatory Powers Tribunal. That's the court in charge of the intelligence agencies in the UK. And submitting a case is submitting a complaint. And at the same time, I emailed the German Federal Intelligence requesting a cease and desist. And they responded in the first instance with damaging my hip permanently. And then I was assaulted so hard I had to flee my home as the court case was running. So after this happened, I fled to the High Court in London and requested an emergency injunction. I received a death threat. I was assaulted with brutal shots in the head that made me collapse in my hotel room straight after my hearing. So the intelligence agencies are so beyond the rule of law. They assault a litigant in a High Court case. And they made me collapse from pain once, and when my husband reached the hotel, they did it again. I collapsed in front of my husband, crying in pain. I survived an assassination attempt 3 days later. And then I was so brutally irradiated I had to flee my home. This was just preparing for my own court case. Because the judge said we have to do this on notice. So during the notice period, these are the things that happened to me. I had a second hearing where I requested a time extension because I had to flee my home, and the attacks got harder and harder. And this was in the British courts. So I've also contacted the British Attorney General, who refuses to actually help. He refuses to stand up for the public interest, even though he gave a talk emphasizing how important the public interest is. And so I have now contacted German intelligence. They refuse to help. British intelligence through the courts, they refuse to stop the assaults. I was just assaulted in October when I travelled back to the UK in my hotel room. The police staged intimidation theatre. The British courts refuse to help. The German police refuses to help. The Swiss police refuses to help, and the Swiss Attorney General has refused to help. Meanwhile, the attacks on me are becoming ever more brutal, ever harder, and ever more parts of my body are being systematically shot to pieces and maimed with military pulsed microwave guns that are just aimed at my own home. I'm not safe in my own bedroom. I have been maimed in my own study over and over and over. They are now taking a blanco check to mutilate us in our own homes. Will you please speak up? Has now the time come when I'm being mutilated live on YouTube? A film that I post straight away. When you can see that at 4 a.m. in the morning, a script is set up to shoot into my body exactly every 60 seconds. You can hear me burst out crying as they shoot into my kidney. I have tried to upload other evidence, trying to measure those attacks where the frequency measuring devices I have can actually detect it, but this is classified military technology. I don't know what frequencies they're using for every single attack. I've also been attacked such that the measuring devices didn't show anything. But will you please support me? My last hope is the German ambassador. He is by law, by consular law, obliged to help German citizens abroad. They are obliged to help you if you just lose your passport. They are obliged to help you if you get locked up for something. So I think they are also obliged to help me when the Swiss authorities refuse to investigate crimes being committed against me in my own home that maim me, not just daily, but hourly, every hour of the day and night. I ask you to please listen to this appeal and please support me. I will include a link to a contact form where you can contact the German ambassador. Just send them a message to let them know that we are serious, that we want these officials to do their job as it's prescribed by law. It is entirely in the means of the German ambassador to have these attacks stopped on me. These attacks started in Germany. I am 100% convinced that German intelligence is involved as well. The German ambassador has links to German intelligence. That's what the embassies are there for. They also liaise with German foreign intelligence. And I beg you to write to this man and make it clear, wherever you are in the world, if you are a targeted individual somewhere in the world, please help me, because I need to get through to him now. I need to get through to him now this week. I need him to understand just how many victims there are, how much we know about the weapons that they used to assault us with, that this now cannot be covered up anymore, that the mental health smear and the schizophrenia and paranoia smear does not work anymore, because 70% of the victims are women and paranoia and schizophrenia are 60% male. End of story. The mental health card cannot be played because we've got such large statistics about who the victims are. And I beg you, please write to him. Just write him a short message. You don't have to give your real name and your real address if you prefer to submit something anonymously. But I ask you to be honest in the message and speak up for me. It will go to the embassy. It will be read by the embassy. I ask you to refrain from spamming. This is a genuine humanitarian appeal. I ask you to take it seriously. Please, I need your help. I spoke to the embassy last Friday and I requested to get through. They did not respond to the emergency phone line that they have at their gate, which is in charge of these cases. They did not respond to the emergency phone line. So I literally got through in the end. I got through to a man who was manning the embassy. It was Mr. Michael Kanzler. And he was kind enough, or Martin Kanzler, forgive me, Mr. Kanzler, I forgot his first name, but he was kind enough to speak to me, last Friday. And when I told him my situation, I said, I am convinced that I'm being attacked by the BND with microwave weapons, and I described the symptoms, I described what I felt, and I described who I thought that the culprit was, and I said, I think it is due to the BND. He said, you're probably right. And so therefore it is not outlandish what I'm saying. I have strong reason and evidence to believe that German intelligence is also involved, not just because my targeting started in Britain, but the German ambassador is by law obliged to help me. And I beg you, please, if you get this message, could you please write to him? We are now just a week before Christmas, and I am going into Christmas with essentially my kidney damaged in a premeditated attack that you have witnessed last week yourself. The video is there online. And the attacks on me are getting harder and harder. 2 days ago I woke up and I realized I've got pins and needles permanently in my right hand because my head has been damaged so hard. And all these physical, complaints and the damage I received to my body was just over the last couple of months. And these attacks turned brutal when I reached out for help. When I approached the court in charge of the intelligence agencies in the UK, when I emailed a cease and desist request to German Federal Intelligence, when I went to the High Court, when I was trying to network to people, when I appeared on the Richie Allen show, making a public statement that these attacks are occurring, they stepped up in severity every single time, and by now they are openly shooting into my organs with the sole purpose of maiming me to death. And they are doing this in a premeditated fashion. We never had this before in our post-Second World War situation, that after people have gone public, the fact that we've got premeditated attacks against you committed in your own home is unprecedented. But now they are openly torturing people to death, and they have tortured people to death in scores. We're only finding out the real total number of victims now. We only begin to uncover the many, many, many deaths due to targeted electromagnetic weapon attacks by the intelligence agencies now. But these people cannot stop themselves. If I cannot get through to the ambassador, these attacks will just turn harder and harder because no one supports me. The police refuse to investigate. The attorney generals refuse to investigate. So the last place I can go to is the ambassador, who's not just obliged by law to help me here in Switzerland. I'm a German citizen. He's obliged by law to help me, especially when my life is in danger, when my health has been already systematically demolished. But he also has excellent links to German intelligence, and he needs to get active, and he needs to speak up, and in his powerful capacity as ambassador, he has to say that the attacks against me have to stop. Please help me. For you, it's so easy to just fill in the form and voice your support for me, but for me it means the earth. For me, it really makes the difference between being heard or being one of those many, many thousands of people who have been ignored. I am trying to stop the attacks against me so that I can help others. We know that disabled people are being attacked. We know that single moms are being attacked, and pensioners are being attacked in old people's homes. I've got the education and I've got the capacity to speak up for them, but they are murdering me now. They are maiming me to death. I cannot help anybody else if they are maiming me to death. I need the ambassador to stand up for me. I need the ambassador to just... what has the world come to? That you need to beg for your own intelligence agencies to stop mutilating you to death. What have we come to as a society, that I need to beg your support that we can stop them? But I am tired, I am exhausted, and I hurt so much. I am at the end of my tether. Please, 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 just write in the form, that you do not condone these attacks and that they have to come to an end. Please, I beg you, because on my own I just can't go on anymore. Please, please, just fill in the form and just say that these attacks have to be stopped, because if we don't speak up, they will not stop them. If we don't speak up, the ambassador will not do his job. If we don't speak up, they will mutilate people to death in ever larger numbers. So please, please take the opportunity and speak up. Please, I beg you. I beg you.